It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America and around the planet, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Come on, people on the right, you got to be better at trolling. All right? This was the lead article at Fox News when I woke up yesterday.
All right.
Okay, all the way till about a couple hours ago, and then it's still there. It's one of the top headlines, but it's not the top headline.
Yeah.
But there's a headline, Billionaire Mark Cuban dodges questions asking whether he pays his fair share of taxes. Quote, I pay what I owe, end of quote. The Dallas Mavericks owner said he was proud to pay $276 million in taxes this year. Okay, and it was like, then you go to the body of the story. Billionaire Mark Cuban said he was proud to pay hundreds of millions in taxes to the IRS in a ridiculed ex-post ahead of tax day. The Dallas Mavericks owner made the statement on Sunday during a back-and-forth argument with Outkick writer Ian Miller after Cuban criticized former President Donald Trump's tax cut policies. Hey, Mark, just wondering if you or your corporations pay more than the required taxes in order to pay your fair share. Thanks so much, Miller wrote. Referencing the frequent left-wing talking point about how much millionaires, billionaires, and corporations pay in taxes. Cuban responded, I pay what I owe. Tomorrow I will wire transfer to the IRS $288 million. This country has done so much for me. I'm proud to pay my taxes every single year. Tag a former president. Hang on here. This is clipped to the next thing. Oops. It disappeared. It disappeared on me.
Yeah.
How does that happen? How did it disappear like that? It was there.
Don't know.
It just went.
The Illuminati.
Boom. No, I'll get to it. Here it is. I got it back. It's like disappeared. Did Cuban do that?
The Cuban Illuminati.
It's like, so he wrote, let me see, get it here. Hey, Mark, just wondering if you or your corporations pay more than required taxes in order to pay your fair share. Thanks so much. And Cuban responded that I pay what I owe. This country has done so much for me. I'm proud to pay my taxes every single year. Tag a former president that you know doesn't. Cuban responded, dodging Miller's question about paying his fair share. Miller replied, so why don't you and your companies pay more than what you owe in order to fix the injustice of the Trump tax cuts? Several fellow ex-users further piled on Cuban. So then why don't you pay more taxes than you're required? Tom Elliott from Grabian Media said, impossible. I was told the wealthy don't pay anything, former investment banker and author Carol Roth said. Political commentator Chad Felix Green calculated that will cover about 0.00084% of the national debt, so your mandatory payment at risk of imprisonment does absolutely nothing for the country. You can give every cent you earn to the government for the rest of your life and never fund a single program you support. Oh. Here's one to Mark Cuban. Post your tax returns and prove you didn't take any tax breaks. I'll be waiting.
Okay.
On Monday, Cuban corrected the total amount, showing he paid $275,900,000 in taxes. I was wrong with my number yesterday. Got the final number, and the wire is complete. Want to be accurate. Do I expect all of it to be used wisely? Of course not, but I'm still proud to be able to give back to our country. I've said it for years. After military service, paying your taxes is the most patriotic thing that you can do. It said, American Principles Project President Terry Schilling ran the numbers and joked, we just need 125,000 more billionaires to pay Mark Cuban level of taxes to pay off our debt. Let's go, Mark Cuban.
Yeah, we're almost there, everybody.
Oh, my gosh. And so it just went on and on and on. But the part where Cuban talked about There it is. Now do corporate taxes.
Uh-huh.
Whether the cuts paid for themselves, the wage growth he said would happen after the cuts didn't happen. Well, we did have COVID. The greater disparity in incomes when hardly any of the corporate tax cuts went to the workers. When combined with zero interest rates, he demanded what path? I'm not sure where he's going there, but
I don't know.
He's saying that corporate taxes should be higher. Here's how I troll Mark Cuban, and this is totally accurate. Why is billionaire Mark Cuban proposing a tax which is a stealth tax on the consumer and hurts the poor the most? Tell me where I'm wrong.
How is it?
Mark Cuban, tell me where I'm wrong. Why is a billionaire advocating a stealth tax that hurts the poor the most?
And he is a long-time business owner.
Yes.
Knows about corporate taxes.
Yes.
You can't convince us that he doesn't.
Right. He knows how it works.
He knows.
Mark Cuban is not stupid. He knows
Yep.
that the consumer pays corporate taxes and that it hurts the poor the most. Why is see, this is a typical billionaire pretending, oh, I'm patriotic, as they're pushing to tax the poor more. Oh, we control better than any of these other people.
Yeah.
And this is a legitimate troll because Mark Cuban knows who pays corporate taxes, and he knows who corporate taxes hurt the most. And he knows that it's a stealth tax that people don't see, where it's not transparent. And billionaire Mark Cuban, media mogul Mark Cuban, minority owner of the Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban, wants the poor people to be hurt more. Why, Mark Cuban? And like I say, and this is serious, tell me where we're wrong.
Why you want to hurt the people that are sitting in the nosebleed seats?
Yes. Why are you hurting the people that can't afford to ever go to one of your games?
Right.
Again, tell us where we're wrong. This is where
He knows how it works.
Well, this is the same thing as Mark Cuban played stupid on the whole DEI thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know. Nothing's wrong with diversity, equity, and inclusion. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm Forrest Gump on this issue. I'm just going to pretend to be completely ignorant and just take the words and say, why can't we all just get together? Did you like that?
Big, bad corporations, but not big, bad billionaires. No, I think it actually sounds just like Mark, what you did there. He sounds exactly
well,
like
the DEI thing, when we went through it, we just said, stop being stupid, Mark. God, he just stop being stupid. Well, no, what's wrong with diversity, equity? Well, that's the same thing as saying, what's wrong with anti-racism? What's wrong with this anti-racism movement? It's racist.
Right.
What's wrong with DEI? What's wrong with DEI is when it's racist.
Exactly. And you know these things. You know how it works with corporate taxes. You know who pays taxes.
He knows. Right, he knows.
Corporations don't pay taxes. Their consumer does.
Look, so you people on the right, you got to troll better.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, slam, to use basketball analogy, slam dunk Mark Cuban.
I may have to stand on a ladder, but I can still get it done.
Jeez. The only thing is that what he's shown over the last couple of months, remember how we always tried to, and look, we when Mark Cuban talked about the college bubble, mm-hmm. Same thing. Mm-hmm. When he talked about, he was right on that. He's mm-hmm. absolutely right on the college bubble.
He's not stupid.
No, he's not. So he knows.
He didn't get to where he is now by being stupid.
Right. But since he is attacking Trump, let's talk about greed.
Right.
Mark Cuban, by what he said, is greedy because he wishes corporate taxes to be more, which the poor are hurt the most by corporate taxes in a stealth tax.
Yep. Because
corporations pass it on to the consumer.
Yep.
Mark Cuban knows that.
Right. Sounds like, man, I just did my taxes, and I think everybody else should be paying a lot more. Anger.
but wrapping yourself in the flag while doing it.
Yeah.
I'm a patriot for paying my taxes.
Right.
Talk about patriotic virtue signaling. I am patriotic. America, America, America.
Yeah.
Now, could you damn tax those poor people more in the stealth kind of way by increasing the corporate taxes?
Right. It's a very simple equation.
This isn't rocket science.
Nope.
So to our friends on the right, you got to do better in trolling because you missed you slam dunk the liberals, which Mark Cuban is. He's tried to portray himself as middle of the road or whatever, but he's not. He's a liberal.
Yep. And there's no way, again, you can't make the case that he doesn't know how corporate taxes work.
Right? He knows exactly how corporate taxes work. So, God.
It's so easy.
What? I'm going to play stupid again, just like I did with DEI.
Or he thinks you're stupid.
One or the other. Yeah, that's what liberals do. They believe you're stupid because he knows, and he's trying to sell something that he knows isn't accurate.
Right. We know that he knows this.
Yeah.
So he's either pretending to be stupid to go along with the. I don't know. What do you get? What is there a prize? Is there? Did they send you a set of dish towels or something? For repeating the chant. Corporations pay and you pay them, then they should be. They get something for that. What do you get for that, Mark? For playing stupid or implying that other people are stupid and don't know this? What do you get in return for that?
You get affection from the left. I don't know that he apparently needs. I don't know. You want
Hammered by all the respondents on X? I don't know.
you want approval of the far left?
Yeah. What do you?
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know what the prize is.
Yeah.
You get a hug? Is it a hug? Virtual hug? Is it? What is it? Where's the satisfaction? Because you got to go out of your way. You can't convince me Mark Cuban doesn't know these things, so he goes out of his way to either pretend to be stupid or believes that other people are stupid. Either way, you've got to go a long way to make that happen. In return for what?
Yeah, what are you getting for it?
What do you get out of that? Because it's not the truth.
Well, the same thing in DEI when he was doing that whole thing.
Right.
That went on for the longest. It went on for over a month.
Right.
So it's like, stop it. You're losing this argument.
Right.
And people would try to say, you don't understand DEI, Mark. Do you understand what's going on? You run a corporation.
Right.
You don't understand what's going on in DEI. You don't understand the critical race theory part of it. You don't understand the identity politics of the Democratic Party judging people by groups. You surely understand and were quiet while the NBA was supporting the lie that police departments are systemically racist to hunt down and kill blacks.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you also know the force, the outcry, the backlash that drove the NBA away from that after one season?
Yeah, exactly. That was fun.
There's the thing. We know where the critical thinkers are, and I know that Mark Cuban's not a stupid guy.
No, he definitely has the potential and has been a critical thinker many times before. That's why we don't buy any of this crap he's trying to throw out.
I just need to know. What are you getting for it? What do you get in return? What do you get out of that? I don't know. I don't know what that would be.
Unless when you pay that amount in taxes, you wish to, well, God, if I'm paying this amount, I got to be the most patriotic person. So I'm patriotic. It's the second most patriotic thing that you can do.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
I'm patriotic by what the government forces me to do.
That's what I was thinking when he says, aside from serving, but right now we have an all voluntary
army.
Army and military. And so you're not doing anything voluntarily. You're compelled by law to do it.
Right.
It's very different. What you're saying is, I abide by the law, and that's patriotic. I mean, you should abide by the law, yeah, but you're compelled to pay this by law.
Look, he's a smart guy. He's not a simpleton, but he's plain simpleton.
Yeah. I mean, if it makes you feel all red, white, and blue, okay. Okay.
Today, I'm going to be Mark Gump.
Yeah,
it's just.
I mean,
like,
if you're going to call it patriotic, okay.
866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
Farmers all across the country are having a particularly busy planting season.
Just about everywhere, where you would expect there to be field work, not only are they in the fields, but they're doing better than last year and the 5-year average pace.
USDA's chief meteorologist Mark Brusberg says that's pretty much true for every spring planted crop, including corn. Corn growers doubling their planting progress during the past week from 3% planted this time a week ago up to 6% this week. That's the national number. But Mark says
some of the states in the Midwest are really making remarkable progress.
Especially in Missouri.
26% of the Missouri crop is in the ground, compared with 7% last week. So they really jumped, taking advantage of that dry weather.
And we now have our first report on soybeans, 3% planted, same as this week a year ago. Gary Crawford for the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Oh, my gosh, that story from thehill.com that the most likely candidate for the No Labels party was Chris Christie. This is, we'll get into the minutia of it, but it's just a great story that Chris Christie was going to be the guy and said he would be the guy. But Chris Christie said, now find me. God, what a stupid way to do it. Chris Christie didn't say, look, here's who I want.
Right.
To promote what I believe.
Yeah.
It's like he said, well, you guys decide who the Democrat vice president is going to be.
Right.
They couldn't find anyone who wanted to be the Democrat vice president for Chris Christie's presidency. Hypothetical presidency. I want to make that clear. Hypothetical presidency.
Right.
Nobody would come aboard. No one.
Not one.
Because apparently the only people that want unity are Republicans.
Right.
Now that's how you troll.
Well, he was open to running with a Democrat.
He was open to running with the Democrat.
According to the story.
Yes. He was looking for that Democrat.
Can't have that as a Democrat. You can't run with a Republican. What? No way.
This is great. What a great story that was. We read it today.
And then they finally just gave up.
Like, okay, sorry, this isn't.
Well, never mind.
This isn't going to work.
Yeah.
This whole thing of having a Republican and a Democrat on the same ticket isn't going to work.
Yeah. What do you call your party? We don't have a label. What do you stand for? We don't really have any.
Wasn't there a story where they did that? Wasn't that James Garner and who else was that? Remember they had that president, the American president?
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
They want all their loans forgiven. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley on Red Eye Radio.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Thanks for being here. All right, here it is, thehill.com. No Labels was this close to a Chris Christie-led ticket. Former 2024 presidential candidate Chris Christie signaled to the political organization No Labels that he would run on a split-party ticket if the group could find a unity candidate to be his Democratic running mate, according to a new report. Dan Webb, the lawyer responsible for the No Labels presidential candidate vetting process, said Christie suddenly signaled late last month he would run if we secured him a Democrat as a running mate in an interview with the Chicago Sun-Times columnist Michael Sneed. The ticket came this close to reality weeks ago, Webb said in the interview. No Labels ultimately was unable to find any Democrat running mate for Christie, according to the reporting. After months of speculation, No Labels announced, hang on one second here, announced recently it would not put forward a third-party ticket. Quote, we needed a Republican on top of the ticket to beat Trump. Then Chris Christie signaled he was ready to run with one condition, Webb said, according to the Chicago Sun-Times reporting, finding a Democrat to run as Christie's unity vice president, but it didn't work. We failed. We couldn't do it. We needed a unity ticket, and no Democrat would run because they were afraid of leaving the party and never going back. When that shut down, Chris Christie pulled the plug. He felt he would not be able to capture the attention of the American public without a unity ticket. Up to that point, Chris was in the game, Webb said, the only Republican who ran in the presidential primary who agreed to tell the truth and attack Trump. Now, the interesting thing is, the truth is coming out about No Labels. Remember, No Labels said the only reason that they were in there was to win?
Yeah, right.
He's making the case there. Christie was in there for one reason, that was to knock out Trump.
Yep.
Take votes from Trump.
Yep.
And we had asked this question a long time ago when it was the Democratic Party that was so scared of the No Labels Party.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, well, we think they're liberals, and we think what they want to do is get in a candidate who would hurt Trump. We were exactly right. I mean, there was speculation because nobody knew what they were doing. And now Mr. Webb is verifying exactly what we thought.
Yep. No, especially when you introduce Chris Christie into the equation. By the way, that's exactly, if you're going to put that plan together, Chris Christie is your guy on that ticket. If you're talking about, because he talked about getting into the GOP primary, and it was all about trying to take Trump down. And, of course, he wasn't going to get that done ever, but he thought he would.
Because here it is right here. We needed a Republican on top. This is a quote. We needed a Republican on top of the ticket to beat Trump. Then Chris Christie signaled he was ready to run with one condition, that we had to find a Democrat to run as his unity vice president. But it didn't work. We couldn't do it. We needed a unity ticket, and no Democrat would run because they were afraid of leaving the party and never going back. When that shut down, Chris Christie pulled the plug. He felt he would not be able to capture the attention of the American public without a unity ticket. Up to that point, Chris was in the game, the only Republican who ran in the presidential primary who agreed to tell the truth and attack Trump. So they weren't a unity party.
No.
That's the guy from the Webb is the guy from the Unity Party that was head of the vetting process.
Yep.
So the Democrats were all out there saying we can't have this No Labels party because it'll hurt, because they just assumed that they would put up a liberal candidate. We always said, wait a minute, these are liberals and discontented Republicans. We always speculated that they were trying to find someone who could take votes away from Trump.
Right.
Not beat. You notice he didn't say we'd win the election, we would defeat Trump and put Biden into office.
Yep.
Which it seemed like Chris Christie wanted to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We'll find out if Chris Christie responds to. This article came out just after noon yesterday. I didn't see Chris Christie respond.
Right.
We'll see if he responds. If he says that isn't true, because Christie may be sitting there saying, well, I might want to run as a Republican again somewhere. This sort of damns him completely.
Look, if you're going to make that kind of move in order to favor getting Biden reelected, it's over. Anything that was left of your credibility on the right is gone.
Now, what I want to know is, who did they ask from the Democrat side? Who did they ask to run with Christie?
Oh, man, I want that list.
And who thought about it and give me 24 hours to think about it and then rejected it?
Yeah. No, I want that list. I want to know who was on that list and what the considerations were. Because the sell would be what? Hey, we're not going to win. But neither is Trump if we have our way. If our plan comes together and you'd be part of it. We'd be taking Trump down for the last time. That's the sell. Anybody you're talking to in the Democratic Party. Now, if you're in the Democratic Party, you can't possibly, and this is why it happened the way it happened, you can't possibly agree to run with anybody that's a Republican, even Chris Christie.
Spokesperson for Christie just said, refer to his statement last month when he said there was no pathway to win.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Christie wanted. Christie may have wanted to win and thought he could win. Looks like Mr. Webb wanted Christie in there just to defeat Trump.
Right.
Because if Christie would have won, he would not have taken votes from Biden. Or excuse me, if he would have run, he wouldn't have taken votes from Biden.
Yeah.
He would have taken votes from Trump. I don't know how many.
Yeah.
Then again, wouldn't it be interesting if he that did happen and he got 0 votes?
Well,
then again, if he got a couple of 100,000, that could make the difference in Trump winning or Trump losing. That's all you need is a couple of 100,000 votes.
You need them in, of course, the right states, right?
Yeah.
So you want to come in and you really want to hit hard. Pennsylvania, you want to hit Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio,
Arizona, Georgia. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you would campaign, right?
Campaign,
I mean, do everything you can. Yeah, sure. Even Florida a little bit, but I mean, I don't see much moving in Florida.
No, neither do I. Yeah, but it's not going to happen. I just wonder what Democrat they approached. They had to approach Manchin for it.
Oh yeah. I would think Manchin would be probably the first you would call. Yeah. And
then after Manchin,
I don't know. I don't. It falls off from there. I just go completely blank. I don't know who it would be. I don't know who it would be. Because Manchin, he's not going to run again. He's already announced he's not going to run again in the Senate. So he doesn't worry about the political hit when they don't win. Because you have to know you're not going to win. Even if Chris Christie believes he can, it's not going to happen. So then you talk about Democrats who are in office now, in any office now. Well, you think you're in a safe district or state as a Democrat, then you get on a ticket with Chris Christie. There's no political advantage there. None. Because ultimately, what if you don't even get it to the point where you steal enough away from Trump and Trump still wins, but you got on a ticket with Chris Christie? Because you've got to go out there and campaign. You're on the ticket. You got to tell people that you believe you can win. That's just the way it's done. You don't go, hey, look, we're not going to win, but vote for us and keep Donald Trump out of office. It's not going to run that way.
I just remembered something over the weekend. I was so busy, and it's like, if you don't write it down, you'll forget. If I don't write it down, sometimes I'll forget it. And just by bringing up Manchin, I went, oh, I had a Manchin shut up moment over the weekend.
Yeah.
Retiring Democratic Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia and former Senator Rob Portman, an Ohio Republican, are holding off on throwing support behind their party's presidential nominees while taking aim at members on both sides of the aisle for stalled legislation in Congress. Yeah, okay. When asked by CNN if Manchin or Portman would vote for President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump, respectively, the two dodged the question but made clear they will not be voting for the opposing party's nominee. I got to that point and I just went, shut up!
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm in the middle here. I'm not sure I'm going to be just like the legislation. Yeah. Oh, well, wow, Democrats fooled me on this.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe. I'm using that voice again.
Yeah.
I can't believe that the Democrats fooled me. I got fooled by the Democrats. Oh, yeah, a lot of people told me the Democrats were fooling me, but I still feel betrayed. I'm not going to run again.
It makes me want to get on a kayak and paddle out to his boat and say, what are you thinking?
But when it became news that Manchin, Portman's another thing, but Manchin we're picking on right now.
Yeah.
we're trolling Manchin.
Manchin's
right
funner
now.
to pick on.
When Manchin came out, well, I haven't made a decision either way. It's news. Manchin hasn't made a decision either way. He's grappling at it. It's like, that's not news.
Yeah. Manchin endorsing anyone also won't be much news.
No. Well,
nobody's going to care. Nobody cares. But it makes you wonder what that process was like. Those phone calls with Chris Christie. People see their caller ID. Oh, man, it's Chris Christie. I don't want to answer this.
Well, it doesn't seem like he was part of the process. It seems like not. Webb was the entire, was like the way the story indicates it was that Christie told Webb,
you find somebody, come back to me.
Yeah. You guys find somebody and come back to me with it.
Right.
Find me a Democrat.
So then you're looking at your caller ID and it's the no labels party. Even worse. I am totally not answering that.
Well, did Chris Christie have any standards for the Democrat for vice president, or it could have been anybody?
No, that's the first thing I thought of. Okay, what were the qualifiers for him? Because at least according to the story, it sounds like he was open to it, but could there have been, all right, yeah, it depends on who you find? Or did he just say that to them knowing they couldn't find a Democrat? Knowing they would never be able to find a Democrat.
And they come back and say, look, we've got this Democrat from Texas who is an expert on the moon.
Yeah.
Because what were they thinking at that point?
She'd be great.
Because obviously, from what Webb said in the quotes, the only reason they were doing this was to defeat Trump and put Biden into office.
Yeah.
I mean, that he's admitted that because they weren't going to win.
Right.
So you would have had to pick someone you could not have picked. They didn't want a unity party.
No.
And I use that for an example, Sheila Jackson Lee, the whole, using her hypothetically. Okay, we have a black woman who is as liberal as you can get, and we have Christie, who is viewed as a conservative. That's the unity ticket. Well, that's going nowhere.
Right.
If your only goal would have been to knock Trump out, you would have wanted somebody. But Manchin polls so low.
Right.
Who could you get as a Democrat?
There's zero energy. Think about that. Zero.
866-90 Red Eye.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. All right, finally, this headline.
All right.
The White House. Iran took a huge escalatory step, but we won't accept constant rising escalation. End of quote.
Really? Which means what? What are you going to do against Iran?
Nothing.
Not a thing.
Not a thing.
Not a thing.
Ensure that more billions are available to them and then deny that
Right.
money is fungible?
Right. Iranian leadership is asking the same thing. What are you going to do about it? You're not going to do a thing.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.